Next up, we have same instructions, find the derivative, and our function is b of x is equal to x cubed plus 1, that quantity, times 2x squared minus 4x minus 1. This is going to use that product rule. Now remember, the product rule is uv, that product prime, is equal to u prime v plus uv prime. In this case, we have our u is equal to x cubed plus 1, and v is equal to 2x squared minus 4x minus 1. And I'm going to do something that you might think isn't fair, but I'm going to do it anyway. You have this formula in front of you, u prime v plus uv prime. We have u identified as x cubed plus 1 and v identified as 2x squared minus 4x minus 1. I want you to pause the video and do this, and then come back when you've found the derivative. Using u prime v plus uv prime, I end up with b prime of x is equal to 10x to the fourth minus 16x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 4. Now, yeah, we could have multiplied these out to begin with and just used the product rule, but I wanted to, the power rule, but I wanted to use the product rule. And there will be times down the road where you don't have that option. You're forced to use the product rule. So this was good practice for that. Finally, we have one where we're going to use the quotient rule. Our function is y equals u plus 2 the quantity squared divided by 1 minus u. Now remember, the quotient rule is u divided by v prime, so the derivative of u over v, is equal to u prime v minus uv prime divided by v squared. Now, we're not going to be able to use u and v because our function includes u as its independent variable. So I'm going to rewrite the quotient rule. I'll just say it's like s over t prime is equal to s prime t plus st prime divided by t squared. What matters isn't the symbols that we use, but how we use them. So here I'm going to say that s is the function in the numerator, u plus 2 the quantity squared. Almost forgot that I wanted to use colors here. And then v is the function, not v, t is the function in the denominator, 1 minus u. For s, I'm going to help you out a little bit. S prime is equal to, we're going to use the power rule, 2 times the quantity of u plus 2. And then t prime is equal to negative 1. Oh my gosh, and over here, when I wrote down the quotient rule, I put a plus in the numerator. It's a minus. Oh geez, okay. I could edit that out, but now I've made a big old deal about it, so everybody knows it's supposed to be a minus there. Now, using this formula, I'd like for you to write down y prime. Come back when you're done. Using that quotient rule, we have 2 times the quantity of u plus 2 times 1 minus u, and minus u plus 2 the quantity squared times negative 1 in the numerator divided by 1 minus u squared in the denominator. And that simplifies ultimately to y prime is equal to negative u squared plus 2u plus 8 over 1 minus u the quantity squared. Keep in mind, this negative is attached to just the u squared, right? If I wanted to write this with a negative out in front of the entire fraction, that's totally fine. But I have to remember I have now factored a negative out of the numerator, and so I should write down that the numerator is u squared minus 2u minus 8 over the quantity of 1 minus u squared. Another thing here is that when I found s prime, I did not FOIL out. I could have. And if I did, it would look like u squared plus 4u plus 4. And then using the power rule, I would end up with 2u plus 4, which is the same expression as 2 times the quantity of u plus 2. All right, so either way would have been fine, and here we are.